Go out and I guess it's still open until what, midnight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So questions for Isaac. Anybody have any thoughts, comments about what he's trying to do, how he's doing it, the software that you're using? Final cut on that last one?
Premiere. I'm working on a PC. One of those rare.
To be honest, Premiere's on both systems.
PCs are still what?
Awesome for this.
So how about some of you guys, how do you feel about him saying things like anybody can do this? Do you feel like you can do this?
I think it's true.
Well,
did you raise your hand or were you just like?
Yeah, one of the things that I do agree is that yes, anyone could technically use this, but just like anything, it takes time to build. You don't become a master painter just with the first day you pick up a brush. You have to work at it and work harder at it.
I think like a preconceived notion is that like the technical aspects of science or engineering or that can be learned. It's a technical science. You can learn it, and people too commonly associate art with it's art. You're born with this. It's not a technical skill. It is. I mean, it's a technical skill. Art can be learned just like it, and so when you start to apply both methodologies to each other, I mean half this was programming. Getting some of those motion graphics to move in the ways I wanted, I had to write, code. But the other half was me sitting behind a camera in the back of a truck deciding what's the right angle, So it's a technical and, it's still a creative process, but it's technical.
Well, it's also sort of like multidimensional, certainly non-linear. You're thinking in lots of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are you in the back of the truck thinking about what angle you want to use for the camera, but your brain's probably also working towards how am I going to move this in the final product.
And post-production.
Post-production issues, all that stuff. And then, you're probably thinking you have shots that you want that you can't get. Or is most of this real time in terms of you didn't go back and do double and triple and 10 takes for something, or did you?
No, all this was like going out there and perceiving the environment as it is, but what you're seeing is a time compression of about 1 frame is being compressed, or 1 second is being compressed about a frame or so. So I mean, it's much faster, obviously.
How much total footage did you shoot for something like that, hour-wise?
The ratio I like to use is like for every minute, you're probably gonna have at least 20 minutes of film. I mean, this is like this took 6 months to shoot.
And you did say sometimes when you get into these projects, you might be up 3 or 4 days.
Pretty much every motion graphic piece you saw, I knocked them out in 3 days. Just kind of not sleeping, not eating, just getting in the groove. I don't know.
Okay. Any questions for him before we got one back here? Question.
How do you fuse 2 frames together?
What's that?
How do you fuse 2 frames together?
In this case, there's 2 ways. Like you either speed it up really fast so that those frames become right next to each other where they weren't originally, or you use a cross dissolve, which is something you can do in a program that just kind of fades the 2 together, kind of like it's see-through.
There's a lot of cross dissolves in that then.
Yeah.
I mean, hours of trying to getting it just right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Oh, question.
That you learned the program. Where did you learn the programming?
Oh, I'm not a programmer. That's one thing I do not qualify. It's her, right there. She's helped me a lot. And also, the internet is a wonderful resource. If there's something you want to know how to do, just get on the internet. I mean, there's a niche market for anything on the internet. You can learn just about anything.
It's what?
Don't pay for it.
You can find it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good principle. Is that because I think that there's a lot of people out there that are running into these problems and they document them because they ran into them. I mean, these are people just like us that are trying to figure out how to do these things.
Well, you're seeing. I think we're seeing this whole proliferation of the you know, you have this professional division, so you have to be the pro video shooter and the pro photographer, right? So one of the things that we want to look at in the future is the photographer who's shooting stuff to make $1,000 per picture is also making maybe a lower res version of that available on iStock Photo. So people can go in, grab it for $1 or $2 and use it instead of paying $1,000 for the professional version. Or they make, you know, a great place to find this kind of art is to go onto something like Flickr, PhotoBucket, any of those places. You can grab images, and if they're Creative Commons or they give license for you to be able to use it, don't go to just Google Images, because that you get a lot of marketing and a lot of low quality stuff in there too. But if you go into something like Flickr and find this stuff, you can find pretty interesting work that people are just throwing up there, and there's always something that will fit your needs, generally. So, okay. All right, thanks to everybody. We appreciate it very much. Hey Nicole, what's the next date? February
February.
23rd?
No, I think it's like the 20th.
20th?
Sounds great to me. Thanks for coming.
Get one of those deals for the contest, the design.
Yes, yeah.
That is, I forget the name of it. Yeah, it's basically Adobe proprietary. So Jax.
Okay.